love, love, love. We're not just taking anyone. So let's have a chat. But I love when our listeners are sponsors. So a week left, you guys. Oh, and if you're a sponsor, you get a free ticket to the show. So a week left, we're covering BravoCon. Shocking. So I got a lot of New Jersey, lots of people in my ear. I had like a 3 hour phone call the other day about all sorts of stuff in New Jersey. They're just across the river. I don't ask for these calls, but then I investigate them. And this one there seems to be some truth to this that Teresa and Jennifer Aydin, I mean, we kind of predicted this. So Jennifer has her new podcast. Her first guest is Teresa, but all is not as meets the eye. So the rumor and the nastiness is that look, Jennifer's going forward with this new podcast. Teresa is going to BravoCon, and that is really what was the beginning of the end. Look, Teresa's on Jennifer's podcast. They're still hanging out. They just hung out. I mean, I don't even want to comment on this group. Jackie, Desi Fessy, Aydin, and Teresa. There's lots of pictures and all of this, guys. I mean, could you imagine being friends with people that you don't really like and that don't really like you, but it's all a game? So the rumor, and it seems to be true, is that Jennifer was starting this podcast and it is what it is. And Jennifer's plan was like, you want to have a real bang of a first episode. Now, I don't know if this is true, but a source was in my ear, and it seems like sources are saying this. She was going to start the podcast, and look, it's not 2023, right? I don't like going back and talking about all the little details, but we love Melissa Zolnos. We've had her on this podcast. The door is open anytime she wants to come back. But I think Jennifer was just going to talk about her exit, end of things, how New Jersey ended for her, which makes sense. It's the last time we technically heard from her, even though she's on Instagram for the few of you who follow her. But she was going to talk about the end of New Jersey and all the rumors and everything that happened. And that does involve Melissa Zolnos. And look, Jennifer and Teresa did it. So we said 2 years ago, Jennifer, sweetheart, you're going to take the fall for all this. Teresa isn't. And it seems that's exactly what happened. Jennifer took the fall. You're not going to BravoCon. And Jennifer was starting to realize, okay, Teresa's going to BravoCon. Teresa's on Special Forces. Do I think Teresa's coming back to New Jersey? I honestly and truly don't. I'm sorry, guys. Huggers. I just really don't. But she could. There's a chance. I mean, there's 0% chance Aydin's back. So Jennifer realizes this. Teresa's hanging out with some of the newbies that are rumored to be in the mix. That's a whole nother show, which we'll get into next time. And Jennifer's feeling left out. So she's like starting the podcast, and on the podcast, the first episode, she's like, I'm just going to talk about the end of New Jersey and all the rumors about leaking the screeners and the bloggers. Well, Teresa is like, why the fuck would you do that? Well, Jennifer Aydin would do that because it benefits her. That would be a very highly listened to episode. I'm sorry, sweetheart, that it doesn't benefit you, but that's the problem with having friends in the business. They will never be your true friends with very few exceptions because you're all trying to further your own career. You all have your own agenda. And Teresa was freaking out behind the scenes. And Jennifer is truly over Teresa. I mean, she still kisses the ass, but realizes like you're not going to BravoCon, girl. So the joke is kind of on you. Teresa has moved on. There's a woman, Michelle Barone. We'll talk about that next time that Teresa's kissing up to, who's kind of in the mix as maybe one of the newbies. And she's thinking that's now her way on the show. Again, she's trying everything. Kathy Wakili. Oh, I know. She said it wasn't real. It's real. She reached out to Kathy, the Gorgas. Boop, a bop, a beep, a bop, a bip, talking about prison. The woman's trying everything. So now she's in with this newbie who might be cast. Not that that has anything to do with whether she'll get cast, but the pea brain, she doesn't realize that. Louis don't know how this fucking works, so he thinks it. So here she is. She's going to start the podcast, and Teresa turns like ghost white. Like, I don't want you talking about that. Like, whether you throw me under the bus or not. Like, I don't even want my name associated with that shit. Like, that was 2 years ago. Bloggers and this, it's a common theme we're seeing, right? Hi, Tamara Judge. We'll get into that, another time too. But because of that, Looney Louie really, what a brilliant man Louis is, right? So he said, hey, instead of talking about all that, how about you have Teresa as your first guest on the podcast? Wouldn't that be as listened to if you're going to talk about the bloggers? Who cares? That's your exit from, but why don't you have Teresa on? That'll open the doors and sell tickets. And Jennifer Aydin, says, okay. So that's how the truth about how Jennifer got to be, that's how Teresa got to be Jennifer's first guest. But could you imagine like being Teresa, such a big housewife? Really, Teresa, Tamra. Again, guys, if anyone tries to hold something over you and knows information about you, let me tell you, you want to pay me for the consulting and the life advice like people do? Save your money for this week. Here's your free advice. Admit, hold your own press conference if anyone gives a shit, and whatever someone wants to threaten to tell everybody about you, tell the whole world. Buy a megaphone, go to Kmart, and from the top of the fucking mountain scream out all the little details about you. That's what I would do. Anyone think they have something on me, they know something secret, you want to slip into my DMs and threaten to expose me, I'll fucking go on here and ask if this mic's on and we'll talk about it all right here. So imagine being Teresa and then having to go and be the first guest for Jennifer when she's really been giving you shit and she's mad at you because you're going to BravoCon and moving on with your life and she isn't. And the point is, Jennifer does have stuff on you. She knows where all the bodies are buried with all those bloggers. And nobody cares because that's 2023. But imagine if Jennifer did spend her podcast talking about this week after week and just laid it all out. It'd probably be highly listened to. I wish everybody success in business. Lori Grenier from Shark Tank says she could tell in a second whether something's a hero or a zero. I don't know. What do I know? What the fuck does David Yontef over here in New York City today know? I don't. I said next gen is the dumbest idea I've ever heard, and it's fucking brilliant. But there you go. I'm not sure this lifestyle, beauty, fashion, whatever it is she's going to do on her podcast is going to be a huge hit. But listen, the woman's so out of touch with reality. Maybe people, is anyone listening to Jennifer's podcast? Anyone excited for that? No shade. I ask these questions. I want actual answers. I've said a million times. Does anybody in the back row think that Wendy Osefo is not guilty? I actually really want to hear from someone. I'm truly curious. So that's the rumor of what is really happening is that Jennifer really has been giving Teresa shit and she really is mad and she was going to do all this, not like a big expose, but she was going to talk about it. And Teresa was like, I'm going to come on the podcast. Louis brokered the whole thing and that will shut you up. But imagine even this, like that picture with Jackie and Fessler. And it's like, none of you really like each other. You're all using each other. And it's just, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I would hate for that to be my life. I don't like that. Like, I don't want to spend 1 minute of my fucking free time with someone unless it is authentic. So I don't know. It just bothers me. It's like it doesn't bother me. It's just my pet peeve of like, oh, if that were my life, it would make my skin crawl. But you know what? Different strokes for different folks. I'm not judging. Uh, Bethany's like solving the world's problems, and I'm not talking about Be Strong and the fact that she's like, was working with Jamaica and, for that whole crisis. But